It's your boy. It's getting hectic out here, eh? Getting hectic. Kimi Antonelli just goes fifth for F2. Mate, I still don't. I'm not buying all this stuff, I'll be honest with you. Still think it might be just a tad too early, you know what I mean? Just a tad too early. What's going on, Michael? Ollie Lewis, let's go. What the hell can you always late now? Michael. You know what I mean, mate? What do you expect from me, chap? Maul says, George, dude, where's my car? Exactly, that's a brilliant joke. And we are T-minus 23 minutes away from a cheeky FP2 session, which was going to be important now. Questions to be answered. Have they rebuilt George's car in time sufficient? Like, what's going on? I know, Visual, tell Michael to leave me alone, mate. Like, what's going on? And now you're going to get on the Kimi sucks bandwagon. I think it's a bit too early to make any conclusive categorizations. Like, who you got for poll? Go on, should we get the poll going on? Kimi Sargent, mate. Michael, you are bad. So really, really bad. Got Leclerc for, he looked good in FP1 for whatever it's worth, isn't it? He didn't look bad. But you just can't. There's no telling at this stage. I'll tell you why Charles Leclerc looks really, really good. The fact that he went so quick on mediums. That's telling, isn't it? Lead on the go back. Oh dear. We're gonna go. I'm just listening to the let's go. Right, just getting my old multi-viewer ready as we trickle in the door one by one for an FP2 session. Also in Italy, so Ferrari gets my vote. I don't hate it, Michael. I don't hate it. You can't crash an FP1. Well, you can if you're brand new. He got overly ambitious, right, and he wanted to nail himself all of the lap time. But again, you've got to. More grizzled F1 vets would understand that there are circumstances, right? The new surface that you've got to account for, the fact that the car W15 Mercedes is very oversteery. If you'd even just listened to James Allison in the bloody post-race debrief, the Dutch Grand Prix Mercedes one, right? You would have heard that James Allison talked about what the car lacked, the W15 iteration, in that it lacks drivability. It's snap oversteer. You're unable to depend on it at every single turn, every single corner, because you're going to get the W15 per Forrest Gump is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Do you know what I mean, Michael? It had to be done, mate. No, what's a green screen, Michael? Like, what's that all about? What is that all about? I'm all over the shop here, aren't I? Shall I sort myself out? I need to do one of these, don't I? Clearly, go on. This is the limitations. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. And I need to do. What else do I need to do? I need to do one of these. I can't have me not being centered. Do one of these. There we go. There we go. Gucci. Good to go. Oh, where's my arm gone on this piece? TV, Michael. We do our best with the setup that we're given, right? When life gives you lemons. We get so Colapinto had his moment. Hopefully for Williams, his only moment, mate. It will not be though visual. You know the rules of F1. It will not be. No, it cannot be. If he harbours hopes to go, ground effect is a completely different. Haven't these? It's just different. Ground effect is techie as far as a rule and reg set. The cars are twitchy, man. Drive them quickly at high speed and you'll get a dependable package, something that you can rely on. But then sometimes they'll do to you what happened to Kimi Antonelli. Somebody did say actually that Kimi Antonelli shifted down with a view to get more pace mid-turn. that was always going to be issues. Although I'm not sure about the veracity of that. So often, maybe I shouldn't be trotting it out necessarily on here. And the green shirt will cause that black is too crisp. You know what it is, Michael? I've got a very sexy camera in here, and I've finally managed to perfect for its settings. You heard that Cam had a green screen. It might be a green screen, Michael. Maybe. Oh, it might not be. We'll have to. For the detectives amongst you, you'll have to suss it out. The Williams second seat, unfortunately, has been magnetised to the barrier. Bloody Nora, even pre-ground effect. No, they're used to it, aren't they? Latifi definitely nailed it. Brandon, and welcome to the club, mate. I appreciate you each and every single time. And if you want to join the family and continue to support, there's a link somewhere here at the top of the chat box. Do like Brandon Allenston and join, and that will give you access to the Discord, where we continue to have our enthusiastic F1 centric conversations. You will also get priority in the chat. You'll get a sexy your name will go to a colour, usually green, and you'll I'll prioritize your chat in the chat. Thank you, Brandon, for supporting. I appreciate you each and every single time. These guys are significantly heavier and not as nimble, says Michael. Oh, the humanity. Chim says he should have experienced snap steering in the sim. No, well, Chim, is correlation 1-to-1, Chim. That's where it gets techie, eh? Is correlation really 1-to-1? Like, I'm not sure it is. Not over at Mercedes. Not necessarily over at Mercedes. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go back to say that. Oh, Toto fielding questions, isn't he? Go on then, Toto. Toto just making excuses. He's young. He's the first time out. Get to the chopper. He needs to learn to cope. His pressure. His F1 piranha tank. You know the drill. Interesting. So they've gone back to the old. We're listening now to Toto Wolff at the team principal press conference. I'm interested to see whether this press conference happened before or after Kimi Antonelli's crash. Can we need to hear you on Sundays instead of these soy boy F1 TV reporters, Michael? Hopefully one day it'll happen. Or not, Michael. You know what? I think this is me now, with watery, teary eyes, crying at the old the Kimi Antonelli tragedy. Well, it wasn't a tragedy, was it? It was an incident of the race. You know what I mean? That's what it was. And Sky Go's not responding. Of course, it's not. What an absolute joke! You lot, permission to go scorch stuff. How am I paying so much money to Sky Go? Yeah, and the thing just crashes whenever it wants to. How? Like, what are we doing, Sky Go? Cam, any merch coming up? Michael, I promise soon. I'm working on it in real time. I have people more expert than me in all those things doing their best to nail it. What are we doing, Sky Go? Why is Sky Go? How am I paying so much for this thing and it doesn't work? Now I've got nothing. I'm going to have to watch it on my bloody phone as opposed to my desktop. Like, why are we... So annoying. They're such jerks. I just don't even understand how they can how they can even have a conscience providing such an SH1T service for people that are paying like a lot of money every single month. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the point? Like, why? What's going on, Ray? I hope you're good. I'm just about to lose my SH1T because my Sky Go has like lost its mind the umpteenth time today. Out here streaming, like, and then Sky Go goes and SH1T's the bed. Why? And how? Paying far too much money to get this poor service. Why? What have I done to deserve this? 97 of you watching concurrently, and your boy Cameron doesn't even have a bloody... I should just do it illegally. I know I shouldn't be out here flipping. I was watching Luke Thomas, the MMA podcaster, and he was trying to do everything by the book on ESPN. And in the end, he had enough. And his hand was forced because the ESPN interface was so bloody noddy. So he just went away and just illegally streamed it. He just absolutely had enough. He was like, well, why am I doing all this? Putting in all this extra effort, additional effort to go and do it properly. May as well go and just illegally stream it. What's the point? I like watching the onboard cams with the F1 TV. Michael, I'm coming on there soon. You know, like they just leave me with no alternative now. What's the point? Now I've got it on the phone. You guys can probably... Well, they brought it on there, so if you guys can hear it through the mic, then it's their fault. It's not my fault. Because I wanted to do it all properly on Sky Go and do the proper thing. Like tread on the legal path. Ted Kravitz saying that they're not very far off fixing IPT, mate, kid. But I'm on the computer, remember, king of nuts. And I don't know if you can get that stuff on the computer. Jim says, Cam speaks his mind. Broadcast TV would tell him what to say. I know, Jim, it's not a good look, is it? It's not me, Jim. Ultimately, I'd get in trouble. Don't think he'd like it. However, don't turn down the checks. I don't think they'd like it, and I don't think I'd like it. Brandon, glad to join. You quickly become my main source for staying up to date on F1. Whenever I read articles on F1, my first move is to come see what you have to say. You're a legend, Brandon. I appreciate you, sir. And thank you so much for becoming a member. I like watching the onboard cams of the F1 TV. Read that one. F1 TV over Sky. I think, you know what it is? I'll tell you why I stick with Sky. Is for the convenience. I like being able to just turn on the bloody TV and watch Donington in 1993 randomly, staying up to date vicariously, almost incidentally, impromptu. You know what I mean? Sometimes I just have it on in the background and see what comes up. So in that sense, I love your collab. But Max, we're doing our best, mate. I want to collab with the best of them out there. And Tactical Rab is definitely one of, if not the best. Who've we gone through? Like, we've had Tomo on there, legend, and again, long time friend. Tomo, Nasher, quick stop again, goated for sure. Aldas, Law VS, like, I mean, not to mention Baxter and Shezza the Shakedown, and again, they're on their own individual content creation journeys. Even missed out Law VS. Like, do you know what I mean? Put some respect on each and every single one of their names. Josh Revel, we've had. Friend of the channel, like, come on. I know I'm missing out somebody, but like, Peter D. Windsor, like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I mean, if you're talking about F1 minds, some of the chats that I've had with Windsor, one day I'll share them all with you. Like, he just knows so, like, he knows without knowing. There was an article, I'll tell you about Windsor whilst we're waiting. T-minus 10 minutes away from a cheeky FP3. Here's what you need to know about Windsor. His mind is so sharp on all things F1. Like, I'll go away and have to, like, put together, like, this article, and then Planet F1 has said this. And, like, I'm trying to understand what's going on with Newey as an example. And then there's been another article on some random Italian publication that says that the reason why Newey's not going to Ferrari is because ultimately he wants the power of veto, and then I have to go in somewhere else and fact check that to make sure. Do you know what I mean? So I'm trying to combine all the sources and apply my F1 discerning eye to try and get to the bottom of what's genuinely going on. Sometimes from time to time I'll just trot out a source said this, but I want to get to the truth of the thing. And in F1 that's not always very easy, and again, not all F1 publications are made equal, and so you've got to you understand it. Put on my F1 Sherlock cap, but get to the point, Cameron. The story on why Adrian Newey ultimately isn't, more than likely, isn't going to go to Scuderia Ferrari is rooted in the fact that Adrian Newey wants the power of veto, doesn't he? Wants to be able to hire and fire whoever he wants to hire and fire. The Scuderia Ferrari Scuderia Ferrari don't want that, and specifically Frederick Vasseur doesn't want to give up that power. I was talking to Windsor, my old mate, friend of the channel, about it, and he hadn't gone on the detective journey that I had. He just knew in his interactions with Adrian Newey that Adrian Newey would want the power of veto. Why? Well, because he worked directly with him in 1993 or 1992 even, when Mansell was winning his championship. So he's just got this data bank of knowledge, has Windsor. If we're riffing before FP3. So Windsor just has this data bank of knowledge as a function of his experience in F1 that he can speak to. Worked with Adrian Newey directly. Probably got his phone number still in his phone book and could just pick up the phone and have a chat. It's that level of intimacy and it's the depth of knowledge and expertise, right, that you can't replace. So Windsor doesn't have to go away and look at a gazillion articles that, like I do, to put it together and say, well, the reason why Adrian Newey has that August 2024 probably isn't going to end up at Scuderia Ferrari is because ultimately it's power V. I need to learn that and read about it. Peter just knows. It's different, right? It's different. There's a book about this called The Death of Expertise. And do you know what I mean? At this point, I've just got to defer. When Windsor's like that, when he gets in his bag, I have to just, I'm like, you know what I mean? It's levels. Levels out here, Mike, you're a legend. I want to wait if you're watching concurrently as we're T-minus 6 minutes away from a cheeky FP2. And again, a lot of these guys and girls have a lot of work to do, I think, if you ask me. Not least of whom are Mercedes, in the hands of King George Russell, still working around the clock, he wants to say, but like trying desperately to get that car in a position to where it's ready for George Russell to drive. Why am I putting on these bloody headphones as if Sky Go works on my desktop? Scorched earth, Cameron, what are we doing here? Nonsense. Absolute chaos. Genki says, like in the gaming YouTube space, you should have a monthly chat with Tomo, Tactic, and a couple of others. Like in gaming. I don't know what you mean, Genki. Did I do that in gaming? Just get Tomo on and... Yeah, maybe. But these guys are very busy. You have to understand, right? Like, got to schedule these things many moons in advance. Otherwise, you just get smashed. Cam, how old are you? I turned 21 this year, Michael. No, I'm plenty old enough. You can tell from the grey hairs, Michael. I'm well old, mate. Peter's pal Scarbs has so much knowledge as well. Yeah, you know what, Chim? Scarbs is a legend. I think I won't talk disparagingly about Scarbs. I can't, because he's again technically minded, and I know that Peter uses Scarbs. Those boys are good mates, and so Peter will lean upon. I know in talking about the asymmetric braking, I'm guessing that Peter would have leaned very hard on Scarbs when trying to assess for what was happening or what didn't happen in real time. My thing about Scarbs, my thing about Peter as versus Scarbs is that when I'm listening to him, the stories are just bloody engaging. So I can't I can't just turn off the Windsor stream, because he'll come out with a next story about how you heard the one when me and him last talked. He's talking about how Gilles Villeneuve was going to give like the race victory to Jody Scheckter, and Carlos Reutemann on the Saturday was like, no, Gilles, you've got to compete. If you've got to If you've got a chance of winning the championship, don't defer till next year. Get it now. Oh, Harvey, you're an absolute legend. Thank you so much for joining the community, mate. And if you feel to join the community, you'll get access to the Discord, the community tab, on which I publish a newsletter of sorts, and you'll get priority in the chat each and every single time, because your name will be in lights, the bright lights, the lights of which Valtteri Bottas cannot cope with because he hasn't got the clutch gene in his body. But yeah, Windsor, when he gets into his bag and his soliloquy and starts rapping about this time, there's a brilliant story that Windsor tells when he's talking about, forgive me, and my eyes just watering, I didn't get much sleep last night and everything's chaos. There's a brilliant story that Windsor tells about him going round Macau back in the day and getting some tips from Windsor. Oh, John, you're a legend. Welcome to the club again. Everybody that joins the Elated Peddlers Club gets their name in lights, and I'll try and give you guys priority in the chat and access to the Discord, of course, where we continue this healthy, respectful, but not always agreeing F1 conversation. But yeah, Windsor tells this brilliant story about how he was driving around Macau, and Senna, Ayrton, was advising him how to, like, through turn 4 it contours, and he talks about this rich feedback that Senna gave him on how this colourful monologue on how he needs to treat turn 4. Like, it was just brilliant, mate. I mean, if Senna's going to get up the max-splaining hands, I'm like, oh, I'm at, mate. How can you not? I'm listening to that. I'm like, oh. And that's. I think, to be fair to Sculls, I think that's something that's unique to Windsor. There's not many. I don't know anybody who tells F1 story in a way that's so engaging. I'll be honest. As per article 11.1.2, Cam. Yeah, it's Oh, are we doing that again, Michael? Red Bull fell off article. Okay, Michael, here you might be right, Michael, if you're talking about article 11.1.2 and the downstream negative effect that it's had on the RB20. However, to play balanced games here and play devil's advocate, Michael, if you look at the data, and I've pulled up this data myself, do you want to go through it, Michael? Hi, Cam, who's your money on this weekend? Visual member for 4 months. Let's go. Kubica is the true 2008 champion, sabotaged by BMW. I don't hate it. Visual, I do not hate it. If BMW can make a hypercar, they can make an F1 car still. Did they make a hypercar though? Okay, we're T minus 60 seconds away from a cheeky FP3. Guys are killing me with the questions. Let me focus. Who's your money on this weekend? I think Matt's will go well, Harvey. I think Lando will also go well. My money would be on... I know that Lando is the favourite to win the race this weekend. It's techie. Go on then, Michael. Let's talk about some of these laps in Spain and Zandvoort and Hungary. Are gods here. Jacob, to whom are you referring? So put a name on that compliment, because I'm sure they will be pleased to read it. 139 of you watching concurrently as well. T-minus 60 minutes away from a cheeky FP2. The weather is dry and it's going to get techie. Go on and let's talk about asymmetric braking. If we're talking about the case against, this may or may not have happened. The Red Bull engineer, what's his face? I can't remember his name, Callum Nicholas or whatever, reacted to Peter Windsor's tweet saying that this could be a thing. This may or may not be a thing. Defending his team, his employer, valiantly, as only you'd expect him to do, right? Lest you want to receive a cheeky P45 and not have a job imminently. Of course, a Red Bull employee, a dude that works on the car, is going to say, I've worked on the car and we haven't got that. He would be a numpty if he did anything other than that. Can you imagine he came out and said, I work on the car and actually we've been deploying asymmetric braking and inertia valve for the best part of 2 seasons. Well, yeah, because Christian Horner would love that, mate. You would definitely continue to get paid as a Red Bull employee, even if you said that. Absolutely not. He's never going to say that. But Michael, here's the case against. Look, I drafted up some numbers. I feel like this is something they should touch on later on today in the Friday night stream. But I drew up some numbers. Mark Hughes' point, right? A brilliant article on Motorsport magazine. I didn't want to pay another bloody subscription fee, but I pay for them and summarize them so that you guys don't have to. Motorsport is one of the good ones. Again, Matt Bishop, the legend, friend of the channel, still writes for them. So if you want yourself quality, detailed articles, Motorsport magazine is a good place to start. Somebody once said to me as well, Cameron, I was complaining about all these subscriptions that I've got to pay for these articles and publications. Someone said, Cameron, if you want rubbish information, then only read publications for which you don't need to pay a subscription. I was like, oh, so sometimes you got to pay for some good information. A Motorsport magazine is probably worth it. Basically, in there, Mark Hughes writes an article where he talks about the case against, and he says broadly, here's the story. The convergence hasn't been the whole field converging upon Red Bull, and that's what you'd expect it to be if indeed it was asymmetric braking, right? If asymmetric braking is reflected in lap time, then as soon as you take it off, if Red Bull had it and had to take it off, then Red Bull would lose time to the entire field. Mark Hughes' case, Michael, is that Red Bull didn't lose time to the whole field. They only lost time to Mercedes and Red Bull. Why? Because Mercedes and McLaren have brought a gazillion upgrades, and they've gained time. So as far as the convergence story, if you're talking between China and now, it's Mercedes. Why do I keep calling McLaren Red Bull? It's McLaren and Mercedes that have massively taken a step forward on Red Bull, and you can see it in their super times. We'll go, like, I've pulled it together. I'm happy to share it with you, Michael. I'll ping it in the Discord even, Michael, if you're in there. Just a cheeky Excel spreadsheet where I go through the. In fact, shall I show you now? No, let's not do it now, because it's very boring and very numbers focused. 134 if you're watching concurrently. Do me a favour, smash the like. I think we've killed asymmetric braking. Congrats, Vision, you're a legend, mate. Thank you for the continued support as well. And I don't disagree with BMW. I love me a BMW road car, I'll tell you that much, but F1's a very different sport, right? If the energy drinks company can nail it, then I don't know. What B team finishes this session highest on the grid? Oh, mate, I need to get some bloody metrics up, don't I? Michael, that's your fault, chap. You got me knee deep in asymmetric braking yet again. Right, let's go. I'm not blaming you. Me being noddy and getting too involved in the banter and the back and forth as always. Let's get some Imola going on. Imola, Monza, Cameron, come on, switch your brain on, chap. Wrong of you, mate. You're sleeping at the wheel here. Get some live timing going on. Live timing again is provided by our mates over at Multiviewer. If you like your value add metrics and a cheeky speed trap, kilometers per hour, then do yourself a favor and go and download that app, because it's free, for Pete's sake. What are we doing it? Lewis Hamilton behind the wheel, getting a wriggle on, eh? Go on, Lewis. It's a really weird track, this Monza. It should be so simple. It's only a couple of turns, eh? But it's really, really difficult to optimize for it and do your best time. It's just hard. Really, really hard. When driving around it again on the game, on the sim, I found it particularly difficult to I hated Lesmo. I said on the previous stream, didn't I? I just hated Lesmo. Lesmo 2 in particular, I just hated. Just couldn't get my head around, to be honest. Get me having to change my setup because Sky goes so. There we go. All right, cool. Again, for the avoidance of doubt, these metrics on the right hand side of your screen, brought to you by Multiviewer. Support them because they support us. Do you know what I mean? Do you know? You get the dealio. 138 if you're watching concurrently. Do me a favor and smash the like. Okay. All right. Lewis, purple. Take that. Take a cheeky screenshot of that and fax it to me. Get it in the post. As you were. End the session now. What B team finishes this session highest on the grid? Yeah, so Williams will go well. I think Haas are quite quick in a straight line as well, or they have been historically this season. But Williams are just super draggy. Their car is made for this track, even though James Vowles keeps saying that he doesn't want to build a car that only goes well at one track specifically. That's what they've built. A car that's very slippery, very low on drag, but can't take turns. Although you need a bit of downforce around here, if indeed you do need a bit of downforce around there. This Skygo again. Being nutty. Skygo doesn't have captions. The waste app. Absolute waste app. Why am I paying all this money for Skygo and it doesn't even work at the critical times? Waste. Oh, here we go. Checking for updates, yeah? Skygo. You absolute joke of an app. Read my messages above it. Jacob, just retype it out, mate. I'm juggling a couple different balls here if you haven't noticed. With Skygo et al. Retype it out, Jacob. I saw one that you'd retracted. I did try to connect the dots, but you'd retracted as you've just done the one beneath this. Car is competitive. The drivers, they have our doo-doo. Mate, oh, you're being empathetic here, Michael. Right, we've got Skygo back on the go. Absolutely ridiculous. Jacob, I notice as well with all this entitlement, chap. I do notice that you're not, your name's not in green, chap. You know what I mean? I do notice. Again, paying members, elated peddlers will always get priority just for the avoidance of doubt, Jacob. I'll do my best, mate, but I can't answer your questions over a Michael or a visual or a lazy. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Or a Brandon. Unfortunately, Jacob. Just saying, chap. Metrics, says Antoine. No, it's got to be some metrics, right? It has to be some metrics. Sydney, let's go. Mr. Sydney Robinson, absolute legend. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate you ad infinitum. Keep an eye out on the community tab for the link to the old oh, go away, Sky, go. So a link to the old Discord where we continue these F1 conversations, It just says the power unit that has the same capacity as the V8 they had. Mate, you're a big BMW man, ain't you? Ain't you, visual? Logan, you can kill that man, but not his idea. Warm welcome, Kimmy, to F1. Attic, it's techie, you know, mate. Like, I don't know. I don't know where I stand with all this stuff, I'll be honest with you. It's too, it's harsh on Logan, but it's fair. Ultimately, when you look at the Destructors Championship for the year, Logan's killing it. That last crash was like in excess of $1 million that it cost Williams. And in the cost gap era, they can't afford that. They can't afford that. Oh, we've got Brundle. We've got Brundle down at, where is he? Brundle down at second chicane, isn't it? Oh my gosh, as the Haas goes off. Trackside, Martin Brundle, let's go. You gotta watch it, man. This is the best bit of free practice when Martin goes trackside and starts to get techie. You gotta love that. Is he talking about this? Is this a first chicane? No. That first chicane looks completely different. They've reshaped it. It doubles back on itself. And again, the big story here is that they've changed they've made the no more sausage curbs, right, which is something they should do away with completely. Sausage curbs have absolutely no place in this series at all. Far too dangerous. Please see Sophia Flush and her accident. Did Alex Zanardi have one as well? Colapinto just doing a madness. They've completely changed the way that chicane looks. First chicane, don't like it. Nor do the drivers. Not even mostly close to the same. It's an updated S63 block conversion to a P63. That's like saying the engine in the M4 GT3. Mate, you guys have gone hard now. I love myself some. I'm a proper piston head, but this is too chaotic for me. I'll be honest with you. Brandon, we should cut the youngster Kimi some slack. He definitely made a rookie mistake by not building up to it, but the kid has speed. He's going to be a problem once he gets his feet firmly underneath him. So here's the thing then, Brandon. I think Aaron said it yesterday, right, that if you're good enough, then you're old enough. And I think if we can say that about Kimi, that sort of mistake, not the mistake in and of itself, but failing to understand for the evolution of the track, the rate at which it's evolving, the fact that the track has been newly resurfaced, the curbs are different, the layout's different, Ascari's changed. You've kind of got to play your way into the wicket, to use the cricket terminology, and I'm not disappointed in it. You've got to give him grace. You're right, Brandon. Like we owe him that. He's only just turned 18, for Pete's sake, and Lewis Hamilton said as much, right, that you've got to give him, have patience with the fella. Don't let's all jump on him and curse him to high heaven. Like, that's not fair. He's better than that, and he's young enough to deserve that. I think you're right, Brandon. I think you're right. Hopefully he comes good. It's a big story, though. Did you see them gathered around the bloody garage? Oh my goodness! The cameras, the press. It was like Lewis Hamilton next to him. Didn't even exist. It's a big story, that chap. He's a very big story. It's a brilliant engine, Michael. You still talking engines, mate? I don't even know. The S63. Is that an E46 M3 engine? In the B58. You're mixing up engine specifications, and it's too techy for me, Michael. Lando P1 purple. Go on, and we need to get up. Let's go, Jean and Lacey. He'll go close, will Charles, because I don't want to humiliate themselves around it. Scuderia Ferrari. I mean, their pace hasn't been great, but they brought loads of upgrades here apparently. Can't even count out Hamilton. Oh. If they sort out the car, he could go well, but I don't think that car, straight line, has never been, or hasn't been, Mercedes' thing for a good few years. 2020 was the last time they had that advantage. When Kimi washes George next year, who replaces him? Oh, the humanity. We there already, Brandon. Well, look, as far as I don't think George is too happy. Not that I know anything, but I mean, would you be happy if every single time Toto's asked the question, who's your ideal lineup, you're talking about Max Verstappen? What about me? If I'm George, I'm like, what about me? Oh, Charles Leclerc just onto it, going down into Lesmo 1. I know, going down to the second chicane is Charles Leclerc. Oof. Just, a bit messy from Charles. Okay, nailing these curves, going down to Lesmo 1, Charles Leclerc. It's so hard, that turn. Oh, and then Lesmo 2. Oh, he's done nicely. Oh, I like Lesmo 2 from Charles. This will be a quick lap. This could potentially, it'll be quick around here, will Charles. On the mediums, by the way. Is he going to go top again? Ascari. Oh, yeah, he's missed the Ascari. Lost some time there. Those Ascari curves are ridiculously forgiving now, though. What have they done? Come on, Formula One. Stop being daft. Go on, then. Parabolica. Oh, nicely there from Charles. Charlie's sick. Charles has nailed this lap. 121. There we go. As predicted. Top. It's not like we watch F1 around here, but you can look at a lap and you can feel it. You can just see them nailing it right. And Charles Leclerc, there was very little wrong with that lap from Charles Leclerc. Holy smoke. Look at that. Look at the delta ray. 121.119 as versus Carlos Sainz on a 121.2. That was a very sexy lap from Charles. When he's in the mood like that, he's just going to be hard for anyone to beat. You know what I mean? When he can, not too many drivers can put together the lap that he just put together. There is a bit of delay, Antoine. I apologise. I'm about 40 seconds behind on my metrics, and probably similar on Sky Go. Well, Sky Go will delay me however much they want to, right? Can't ever count out. Brandon, when Kimi washes George. Sorry, I've read that already. Yeah, there is a thing about George though. 2025, his contract is up, and I just feel like they've I just feel like they've been a bit. They've mismanaged that whole circumstance, haven't they? I just, you got to be a bit nicer to George. Can't always come. Surely, you got to pay attention to your existing employees. When I say employees, I'm talking about your driver pairing, Toto. Can't be out here talking about, oh, I'd love to have me some Kimi Antonelli. Oh, and by the way, for my dessert, I'd love to have me some Max Verstappen. So where does George go? Where are you going to ship him off to Audi? What do we do? Toto, it makes no sense, mate. You've got to consider yeah, I had a manager that did that to me once. I'll be honest with you. Kept on talking about how he's going to bring in this new accountant. Hang on. Who's leaving then? Boss. Are we adding to the team in a financial year when there's no money spare? Like, who's leaving? Techie. People bought a 20-second lead, was going to disappear. Yeah, no, they're quick. We're talking about McLaren. They are very quick. Very, very quick. Science faster lap. Sorry, Michael, I'm behind. All this sausage talk is making me hungry, said Attic. May pay a visit to Five Guys later on. Are you a big Five Guys man, Attic? I'm not a big fan. I like their Cajun spice chips, but I wouldn't eat there. But their burgers are just... I feel like they're just repackaged McDonald's burgers. And they're not... Nah, can't do it. Not a big Five Guys guy, Attic. Ferrari always fast at Monza. Yeah, they've dialed up everything, haven't they? S55 was the F80 engine, replaced by the S58 in the G chassis, mate. You're serious with the terms. John Adams, you're a legend. Thank you so much for becoming a member, mate. And John Adams too, along with all the other elated peddlers who are members of the channel, will get access to the Discord, where we continue the conversation in a way that's healthy but not necessarily congruent. E46 S54, there you go. Visual. I think it is. Oh, I think it is S54 or S55. I can't remember. I love myself a cheeky E46 though. S55 was the turbocharged M3. That's an oxymoron, Michael. There should be no such thing. Not to do the old nostalgic thing. S55 is known for spin. Yeah, it did used to. They would blow. GR63 feeling very. Genki's harsh. How can he not feel like Beyonce irreplaceable? Like S58 quicker, Michael. But this is the same thing that we're having in Formula One, right? The machines are quicker as versus 2004, but are they more engaging? Non-rhetorical question. F1 is V6 and BMW makes a killer inline 6. So maybe they could be an engine manufacturer one day, potentially one day. Back again. Gio was supposed to be a Lewis Hamilton replacement, I thought. Even then. Do you know what I mean, Michael? They don't rate him. They just don't rate him. What's up with Perez still in the garage? Go on then, let's have a look at your runners and riders. 155 of you watching concurrently. Do me a favour and smash the like. Your runners and riders as at 20 minutes into FP2. 121.1. Your pole sitter as it stands. Charles Leclerc, or your race lead for this session. Oh, they're quick, aren't they, those Ferraris? Both on mediums. And they've got 0.5 on Lando Norris. Oh, he did his lap on the sauce. Again, though, you've got to understand what fuel are they running, what sim are they running, what's the weight of the car. Was Lando even pushing around there? Lewis Hamilton goes second, 121.168. Let's go, Lewis Hamilton. Let's go. I'll take that. Lockout. Oh my gosh, and there goes Oscar Piastri, 120.8. They've got pace, have those McLarens. They're just quick. You know what I mean? And worryingly for the rest of them, quick on different circuits. You remember, like before, it was like, yeah, they'd be quick at Monaco because they could turn. No, they're just rapid in any circumstance at any track. They're just quick. Oh, the humanity. They're more dull, I will say, yeah, but for the speed and the price. How much could you get an F80 for? Like, I've been looking at them, you know, and I just don't like the look of them, Michael, as versus an E92 or an E46. The latest iterations just don't like the F. No, man, I'm not feeling it. F80. Some of them look quite nice, to be fair, but not the same. Brandon, 150 in the chat, only 31 likes. Let's get this going, gang. You're a legend, Brandon. A proper legend, mate. Mate, I suspect a blue spanner might be coming your way at some point. Lewis Hamilton's talking about getting the toe. Remember, the toe's critical around here, right? In previous years, in fact, you saw it if you watched F3 just now, when they were doing their Monaco style qualifying or whatever they call it. They were all just wait. Nobody wanted to go out there first, because knowing that first is the first to go first in qualifying, in like proper qualifying. Let's say Q3, you're the first loser, aren't you? Right? Ted Kravitz is about to steal my thunder. You need to try and get a toe around here because it's so straight liney around here. It's something like 70% of the track you do under full throttle. So you just need to nail the slipstream right. You need to have a slipstream from someone. Normally it'd be your teammate, but some people don't like to. Valtteri Bottas never used to like to give Lewis Hamilton a toe in 2021, did he, the Joker? The G80 chassis is around 70k starting. Mate, I can't. And they've got those bloody like ugly faces, haven't they? The grills. I know it harbours back to the BMW heritage. Not for me though, Mike, I'll be honest with you. F3 was bonkers, wasn't it, gaming? And gaming, I tell you what, it happens in F1. I want to say in like 2016, 17. Similar thing happened in F1 where they were all waiting for like the first loser to go that they could auto. And they all waited too long and only half of the pack got round to do their last hot lap. It was bonkers. Just daft. Nonsense, eh? M340 cam. The B58 is the best engine BMW. You're a proper BMW man, Michael, I can tell. M340 had the old style grille. I'll have a look. But I'm a proper, if I was buying a BMW at this stage, I think it would be an M car, Michael, I'll be honest with you. Like an M3 or an M4. Well, I can't afford any of that stuff. That's all too... I'm not financially robust. Who's laughing? Hamilton Radio. Oh, yeah? Just heard it. Jackery, you're a legend. Thank you so much for becoming a member, mate. I appreciate you. And again, if you want to become a member, you get access to the Discord, you get priority in the chat always, and you get a cheeky weekly newsletter. Oh, shit. There we go. Excuse me for swearing. You get a weekly newsletter. I didn't swear, I said shoot. I don't swear. I'm a father. You get a weekly newsletter on the community tab. Oh, the humanity. Genki, to be honest, modern cars have killed the passion. Everyone's tune and drag used to be toge. Oh my gosh. You're talking my language, Genki. Like, toge. Best motoring toge. Is that what I mean? Hachiroku settings. Is that what we're dealing with, Genki? An 86, like, do you know what I mean? Initial D. Now we're talking. Better than an M3. It's faster cam and cheaper. I'll have a look, Michael, at some point. I'll have a look. Cash says Mercedes in almost all classes 2009 to 2009 compare. You boys are going in on the piston head stuff, aren't we? Properly. Go on then, let's take it back to F1. AMG, yeah. AMG's, when are you coming to the US, Cam? Easy at some point, mate. I do need to come. I've got family over there, but it's juggling too many balls at the moment. Trying to set up a channel, you know, EC's trying to build a community and all that. At some point though, mate, I will be in the US and we'll have to schedule something. Live shows needs to happen. Been telling Backstein shows for the longest time that we're going to do a shakedown somewhere at some point where it's just going to be a big moot, like a massive F1 argument. It will happen at some point, easy, I promise. I street race, so I need to be fast. He's still street race, Mike. Some say that I may have been party to a street race or two back in the day. As irresponsible and illegal as they were. I didn't race myself, of course. I was only a passenger. Different classes of speed. Michael, you're in it to win it, aren't you? Racing for slips and all that. It's nines with turbos, bloody Nora. Nines, quarter mile. Get it, Michael. You're on a different level. Go on then. Let's have a look. Come to Vegas. Catch him. Honestly, I'm looking to take before my time's over. I'm going to take in some of these Grand Prix because we only get one, and time is a finite resource. Some say 120.7 from Lando Norris, 120.8 by Oscar Piastri. They have between them. Oh my God, they've gapped the rest, and that was a God tier lap from Charles Leclerc, right? Although Charlotte, we're talking about softs now, and Charles Leclerc set that lap that I voiced over on mediums. Everybody, as the track's evolving, apart from Lance Stroll, Perez, and Ocon, Tsunoda 2 and George Russell find themselves now on the mediums, looking to put some vanity runs in. Let's go. George Russell complaining about movement in his cockpit again. Wasn't this Lewis Hamilton a couple of races back? Complaining about his seat, that there been some play in his seat. George asking him to check on his seat, making sure it's okay. Lewis being told that he's got time to be found on turn 2. He needs to get a toe to make his time better. This is toe central, isn't it? You need to get some slipstream around there. Lewis had been claiming about no one out here to get a toe, hence why he hasn't been able to optimise for his lap time. Karan Chandler saying Red Bull have yet to show their hand. Oh my God, Lewis. What's Lewis gone and done? Oh, 120.7. Let's go. Let us go. 3,000ths quicker than Lando Norris. Oh, the humanity. We'll take it though. Well, I'll take it as a Sir Lewis Hamilton fan. And by the way, Ant looked good even with the crash. He did look good. I'm actually nervous in a good way about this kid. But there's a lot of, I can't buy into the bluster and the bloody, you know what I mean? Not just yet, at least. I don't know. Seen it too many times when a driver's come along and everybody's hung the bloody gold medal around his neck before time, and I just can't do it. I'm reserving judgment and until I see more evidence. You know what I mean? Just yeah. I just want to yeah. I'm chilling out on Kimi. He looks good. He did look fast, but one swallow a summer does not make. Why do you think, as an example, pitching this as a non-rhetorical question, Bono, my tyres, why do you think they pitched him first around Monza? Because he's done a gazillion hours around it. It's his home track, right? He'll know Monza better than anybody on that current grid. An Italian. Of course he's going to go quick. Put him around Spa and let's see. Let's see. We'll see. We'll see in earnest. Give the dude some time. I'm being too harsh on him now. Give the dude some time and give him some grace. My God, Russell, what's George doing? I haven't seen it. Bono, bloody Norris. Bono been working out. Look at those traps, Bono. Holy smoke. Has he been on the old TRT? Even his flipping Nora. $151 of you watching could currently do me a favour. Smash the like. Seat's still hot for Hamilton. How hot is it in Italy? It's warm. It is warm. Temperature should be top right, Michael. You see it? Temperature, track temperature 46.9. Air temperature 34.1. What's George saying? What's George moaning about? My seat feels very hot, says George Russell. They've got to deal with that, haven't they? Can't wait for Sainz to come show him up. Mate. I'm getting tired of this Albon go. Why, Mike? What's wrong with Alex? Alex wouldn't hurt a fly. Like, did you see Alex's statement about Logan leaving? I mean, yeah, it's got to be warm. They've got to contend for that. Over race distance as well. That McLaren's still hiding pace. Just throw Kimi back in the car. Behave yourself, Mike. He's had his time. He was just in F2. Did you see him? P5 F2 quali. Take that. Oh, red flag. Up. K-Mag, okay. Oh, just get rid of K-Mag now for his own sake. You know, K-Mag reminds me of Roman Grosjean before he had his crash. I feel like we just look at the Haas guys. Ayo Komatsu is just like, mate, can we get Ollie Behrman in and Esteban Ocon now? Like, what's the point? He must be up there in terms of the destruction championships now for all of the damage that he's incurred. Come on. Petition to get K-Mag out. Bear with me. GR is always crying. Yeah, he's always having a moan, isn't he? He should get out of his own way. I don't hate it. EC, it's good to be skeptical, but don't lose the sensation to fall in love with F1. Love that, EC. Us fans need to get carried away sometimes. I'm hoping Lewis helps with that next year for right. I don't hate that, EC. You've nailed the sentiment, the prevailing sentiment. I don't hate that at all. And you know what? As far as greatness and my relationship with it, as far as sports is concerned, I always fall in love. It is the Kimi Antonelli phase, right? Where you want to see whether he can make his first jump. Is he truly going to be great? Like when at Lewis's stage, it's brilliant, but it's kind of a bit tired. And even Max's stage, Max is still he's fantastic, as is Lewis. But it's kind of like, you know, now there's no uncertainty. It's not like, you know what I mean? Their journeys are finished. They've climbed the greatness mountain, and it's categoric, definitive. Kimi though, can Kimi do it? Like, has he got that? Has he got Mount Rushmore of F1 in him? Who knows, eh? God forgive me, my eyes are still watering. I failed to sleep last night. Failed miserably. I hope K-Mag gets a contract. So, do you, Michael? Why? Hazy said maybe they forgot to put the floor back on George's car and his ass's fit. Oh my gosh, Paisley. Say it's so, sir. Say it's not so. 155 of you in the chat concurrently. Do me a favour and smash the like, because every little bit helps. Otherwise, the YouTube algorithm will think that I'm out here peddling nonsense. And I think we do all right from time to time. Do you know what I mean? Nobody bats 1,000, but we're not doing too bad on here. I don't want to be just a commentator stream. I want to interact with you guys and go back and forth and talk about things properly. Engage F1 meaningfully wherever possible. Whenever there's F1 cars out on track, I want to have a stream up here talking to you about the subject. Other than that, he's just a crybaby. George is really good. Again, I think George is another one that we need to put some respect on his name, as we are currently red flagged for this session. K-Mag doing what K-Mag does, of late at least, and puts it into the bar. George only drives where the car is perfectly set up and he has no problem. See, Michael, but that's what people say about Lewis. I think that's wrong. If you, I'm going to lean on my guy Windsor here. If you pitch that at Windsor, Windsor will say, "Rubbish, mate. I disagree with you, mate. Like, what are you talking about, Michael?" He would argue that George is more geared, that his style is George is better suited to drive a knife edgy car than Lewis. If not just because of his history in Williams, right? He's just more suited. Lewis has had it good. It's almost like, listen, if I go to the gym every day and lift 20 kilograms, when you put 50 kilograms for me to lift, it's just going to be different, right? It's change. And that's what Lewis has had a privileged F1 life from 2014 to 2020, because he's always had the quickest car, a car whose success was a function of Mercedes' ability to nail split turbo hybrids, right? They nailed it. They had the engine, and that car's always been a rocket ship. So then imagine the adjustment, the material adjustment, the gargantuan adjustment that was 2021 in that Mercedes car as versus 2020 in a zero pod era where they've completely botched it. All of a sudden you had a car that was dependable, if you're Lewis, that you knew what time it was, it knew you, you knew it, and you could hustle it along. And Lewis honed his driving style, and to an extent that design philosophy of those Mercedes car W12 settings it suited Lewis Hamilton. And again, I always talk about this, but Adrian Newey said it on many occasions, that you would almost sacrifice something in terms of absolute pace or pace in absolute terms, because what you gain in drivability, if you have yourself a Sir Lewis or a Max, would ultimately equal more pace in absolute terms. And I think that's what Mercedes did to a little bit. They had a car that Lewis could hustle along. So how about that paradigm shift then? How's Lewis at the ripe old age of 38, 39 how's he gonna deal with that? It's a paradigm shift. It's a difference in circumstances, Becky. He's fast only when the car. But that Michael, that's what they'd say about Lewis. It's a long way of saying that I disagree, Michael, but you get the point. Ferrari, Chim Kimi 100%. What did Chim say? Monza is hard. It's a tough track, I'm telling you. Try and drive it, because you look at it and it just looks like it should be simple. But those Lesmos, mate, this doesn't even make sense. Doesn't even make sense at all. He crashed. Magnussen crashed. Christian, different strokes, different folks. Working out and work paying for. Don't know what you mean, Max. Who did you think looks quicker, says Jacob? Ferrari or McLaren? McLaren are quicker. McLaren will be quicker. Whether Ferrari are quicker around here is a different question, isn't it, Jacob? Ferrari are desperate to perform around here. You know what I mean? Gonna get techie. Bonner got a promotion, but also worked out, as someone said something about he's getting working out. It was talked about on a podcast. Mate, he looks tonk. I didn't clock that before. I saw him celebrating with Lewis at Silverstone, but I didn't clock. Like, he looks massive. Been nailing those. You know what I mean? The shoulder press. Like, his traps look humongous. Max P13, laugh my ass off. Michael, don't laugh too soon though, mate. Verstappen eager to get a flyer on soft. Really been it at Parabolica, behave. Chance, Christy. You know better than that. Norris will find a way to mess up his quali lap. I doubt it. It's been rapid in quali. What are you talking about, Michael? I reckon you'll get short odds on Lando Norris putting it on pole. He'll be favourite, Lando. 13-2 against Piastri, Jacob. I didn't realise, you know. I had to check it out. Somebody said, might have been you, Jacob, that said last time. Somebody said about the head-to-head qualifying between Lando and Piastri. Piastri's meant to be a god-tier qualifier, right? No chance. No chance. Lando's been fleecing him. Ted Kravitz. I'm just watching Ted Kravitz here talking about. Oh, Max Verstappen on the radio. GP asking Max same issues as the previous lap. Max says, yeah, ish. That McLaren's looking a bit. It's weird, right? The quickest cars just look. They just look rapid. Christian, should Lando sandbag in Q3? We all know his record. Oh my gosh, Christian, no, you can't. I hear what you're saying. He's not been brilliant from pole, has he? Every time he's flopped it. I think there's been 6 races back to back. I was telling Windsor about this. 6 races back to back. Sochi, he started on pole 2021 and didn't make it to the end of lap 1 in first. Brazil sprint qualifying a couple of years ago, qualified in pole. Max Verstappen stole his lunch before the end of the lap. Spain, like, and all of them this year, right? He's just struggled massively. Brandon, can George do to Kimi what Lando's doing to Oscar? That was the question, right? Somebody said that. Maybe it was a Tactical Rab. We were talking last night, and he said that maybe. I think it's the other way around though, Brandon. Can Kimi do to George? Oh yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah. I don't know. This whole Kimi thing is becoming the story in F1, eh? Like the hot story. It's proper. I just don't know. You're getting techie now. You're getting far too techie. I apologise. 198 if you're watching concurrently, and we have ourselves an FP2 session. It's going to get techie in a minute. But for the avoidance of doubt, your runners and riders, first 3 to 5th, Hamilton on a 120.7, Norris on a 120.74, only 3 thousandths between the two protagonists. 2 quickest this session. Sainz, Piastri, Leclerc. Interestingly, Piastri though sets a 120.8 on mediums. Oh, what is going on? It's all fugazi, isn't it? It's so hard to like peel back at the it's layered like an onion, this FP2 session. It's difficult. We haven't done quali sims yet, Max. I will do a deep dive and we'll discuss that at 8 p.m. when we go long on our Friday night stream. As always, Attic says, look at Power Shrugs, mate. Mark Ripperton. I'm going to look them up as well, Christian, because I think I know what you mean with the Power Shrugs. It's a difficult technique, though. I need that. I heard Kimi was a pay driver. Behave. Who's told you that, Michael? I'm not having that. Sad if true, because Mert puts him as the next prodigy. I think he's good. I think everybody said he's good. One of these where you need to look at as many. One swallowed is not a summer maketh. I'm not talking about his performance today. I'm talking about accounts. And many people, F3 engineers, have said that he's the best that they've ever seen. Corinne Chanduk confirmed that. Toto says he's really good. Lewis says he's really good. The Mercedes engineers said he's really good. And he's not been bad in F2. Do you know what I mean? He's getting techie, Michael. Do you know what I mean? Keep your eyes on RB, says Genki. What does it mean to be a pay driver? Michael, you know what that is. It means that you bring in money sufficient to pay for your drive, right? That you bring in money, net. Sad if Chika's Matt. Both are super talented. Let's Kim Dad being a GT driver for Mert screams pay driver to me in an industry plant. No, he's decent. There's too many people now that have said it. One of these ones where you need to look at the trend of accounts that speak about him. What if Kimi was faster than Hamilton in FP1? That's what he was going for, living on the edge. You didn't see? That's exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to nail Sir Lewis. Give him time, living on the edge. I think you're right. Yes, but his dad has connections with a team that other drivers. Connected and pay driver is different. To have like a Checo, some people would characterize Checo as a pay driver because he brings in $30 million a year to Red Bull Racing. So that's, but he's kind of done it on merits as well as Checo a little bit. Kimi might be pay driver. So pay driver was Latifi, whose dad owned the bloody business. What was it called? Something Pina. His dad's, the company that his dad owned, Latifi I'm talking about now, was emblazoned across the Williams car, right? Get it's like SAS Pina or something. I can't remember. Max's car doesn't turn again, says the bat signal. Oh, the humanity episode died. He wanted to nail Sir Lewis. Pause. Yeah, true. You got me. Max not going for a quali sim today. Well, let's have a go. Let me have a look. Checo Perez goes 121. You're gonna need a tow, aren't you, to go fast around here? 120.7. Jeez. Go on then. Where's so I think, all right, so it looks like Red Bull. So here's what Red Bull are doing. I think they're just focusing on race sims, no vanity runs, because they know they don't have time. They dropped the ball last time round because they did fail to set up the car properly, and now they're going to spend all the time necessary to nail that setup for the race. Get back to basics, Red Bull. Concentrate on the setup for the race like we used to back in the day. Yeah, he's probably struggling to turn in again, isn't he? It's getting a bit techie for Max, but they're focused on it. You know what I mean? Trying to solve for it in real time rather than get into the race and having baked in too much bloody downforce onto the wing, and there's not enough tyre deg to warrant stats. Then I'm not going to make the same mistakes again this time round. I don't think Red Bull. Not prepared to Safina. Thank you, Attic. Latifi that caused the safety car in 2021. That very same Nicholas Latifi. Bring back the brake valve, please. Max is thinking, mate. Michael, you've heard I've pitched the case both for and against. Ain't no telling. And they own Lavazza. He's worth 3.4 billion with a B. A broke, says Christian. Max is starting to wonder if his titles have an out. Oh, behave yourself, Mike. Behave yourself. You can't unsee history, Michael. Can't rewrite it either. Go on, we've got a bit of Martin on there. Oh wow, Martin talking about these cars on the exit of Ascari, that the heat that George and Lewis are complaining about is a function of the friction that they're experiencing because the underfloor plank that they're rubbing on the exit of Ascari. Is this Ascari? Left-hander. Yeah, he's talking about Ascari. Brundle's saying that the drivers feel cheated, that they've bloody made they've overly sanitized the Ascari, the very thing that made Ascari challenging, which was the contoured curves that you kind of had to you wanted to absorb just enough curb to where you shorten your racing line, right? Geometric racing line. You want to try and straight line the turns as much as possible. And because it's a chicane, you got to take some curb. But if you take too much, the curb would just spin you out, right? So in flattening Ascari, you just make it easier for everyone. And if you're that guy and you fancy yourself as one of the premier F1 drivers as of 2024 on the grid, then you want to get rid of us curbs at Ascari. What are we doing here? Isn't Behrman like P16, mate? He's nowhere. There's some questions that are going to be answered on Ollie Behrman, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, Colapinto this year. Who else? They're going to have to answer. Honestly, it's going to get serious next year. Some people, the tide's going to go out, and some of these emperors are not going to be wearing any clothes. I'm telling you, it's going to get techie. Does winning F2 even win? Does winning F2 even mean anything? Well, it's not what it used to be, mate. This is what I'm saying. Michael, I tell you what, I always cite it, but it's a brilliant interview. It's in Spanish, but you can get your old captions up. The new project podcast with Carlos Sainz Jr. There's like a 5-10 minute piece on there where he's talking about the reason why there's not 20. If you're coming up through feeder formula and you're a driver that wants to get into F1, he talks about very specifically and precisely about why there's not 20 seats. The people who say the best 20 drivers in the world and there's 20 seats in F1. At any given point, if you harbour aspirations to be an F1 driver, there aren't 20 seats there for you. There's only ever like a maximum of anywhere between 2 and 4, right? Who's left F1? This is the first season between 2023 and 2024 where the grids have stayed exactly the same. There was nobody leaving and nobody new coming in, right? Which means that in 2020, this is why you see the F2 champions were winning F2 at the wrong bloody time in Teo and Felipe, because there were no seats. Even Oscar Piastri, as good as he's proven to be, had to sit on the bench for like 2 years at Alpine. And then when I wanted to sign him because Fernando Alonso realised that he wanted to go and get all the money at Aston Martin, all of a sudden he said, nah, mate, I'm gone. I don't care how much you've invested in me. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Honestly, F1 is chaos. Ascaria's history of choosing worst team after 53, and the team can't even put a car in that year. I'm not clued up. I know that Ascari won in. So 50 it was Farina, 51 it was Fangio, 53 and 54 were Ascari, right? And then you go Fangio, 55, 56. Maybe I've screwed that up. I know Fangio won a couple there. Not a bad driver. The next year might be 4 new drivers, so maybe that was a mistake. Michael, so there will be 25% of the grid next year will be F1 virgins. Pause. Behrman, Antonelli. Help me out. Who are the others? Not Colapinto, because he'll be out of there by then. Behrman, Antonelli. Can't remember. My memory doesn't serve me. 52 and 53 for a score. It says Bonaparte. There you go, mate. Oh, yeah, right. So it goes Farina and 50. Fangio 51, and then Ascari, and then Fangio 54 to 57. Right, you are Bonapartis. I stand corrected. If one F2 champion went into F1 every year, I'd still take 20 years for the whole grid to be replaced. Winning F2 should be an automatic golden ticket into F1. I believe that as well, Michael. I'm with you, mate. We agree for the first time this afternoon. Do you know what I mean? Just having a look at Chicane 1. 180 if you're watching Kokoni, do me a favour, smash a like. We have ourselves not long left of FP2, I don't think. 7 minutes, that's flown by, eh? Has this session been brilliant? You runners and riders. Currently, your session lead, Lewis Hamilton on a 120.738. Don't hate that. 3,000th down the road from Lando Norris. Sainz, Piastri, Leclerc. I'm keen to see it. I really want to give this session colour though by going away and doing some deep dives. I want to see this time through the speed traps. I want to hear. Cam, do you like LeBron James? Mate, LeBron James is a very techie topic in our household, Michael. I've got mates who've been watching basketball all their lives, right? And they it's techie. The Michael Jordan stuff is very, very techie. It's because it's like Jordan and LeBron. That conversation is almost as toxic and incendiary as what's the top? All right, so look, it's split. It's very much like Lewis and Max. You can't abridge both camps. You one or the other, right? Which I feel is like nonsense. Because LeBron and LeBron, I think a lot of it comes from the time when you fell in love with basketball. For if you were watching early 90s basketball, if you're old enough to be around then you're just going to be a Jordan guy, aren't you? Almost by extension, it would be blasphemy to say anything else. So my mates who are old enough to have been watching, they were watching Jordan in prime time. Not even Wizards, proper Michael Jordan during the Bulls time. So all of those guys are Jordan fans and won't hear any. And I think Jordan as a late 80s Jordan is the best basketball player that's ever lived, right? I think that's almost I think that's difficult to argue against. As brilliant as LeBron is and his longevity, and nobody had Kobe top 2 until he, but yeah, true also, Michael. But sometimes that can do people. Scottie Pippen was the real star. Real Shump, I've heard people argue that too. LeBron is the best, Cam, I can't lie. Michael, I think I know. I think I can tell how old you are, Michael, because of that statement. Crazy, eh? So you think, like, Michael, you think LeBron is better than Michael Jordan in 88 and 89? Mate, Mineshaft goes Larry Bird all day. Kobe passed, had people elevating him to GOAT status. He's borderline to, oh, mate, visual. Getting techie. Saw LeBron live. You saw Jordan live? The only thing I got LeBron is Sprite advertisement. Mate, I just 2016 made him my GOAT. Is that the? No, I don't know. I'm honestly, my basketball knowledge is very, yeah, coming back against the block. I remember that. But the problem with that is, though, wasn't Stephen Curry were knackered that time. Again, they were brilliant. They were knackered that time, weren't they? They played to break records. But I digress. Go on, let's get back into F1 because I'm lost in basketball. I have zero knowledge. 120.7, same. They're all just chilling out, aren't they, now? As we're 3 minutes remaining of this, your FP2 session. 174 of you watching can come. Do me a favour and smash the like. Not Jordan, he's too old for me. I knew it, Michael. You're a youngster chap. I knew it. Like you can tell the LeBron fans, they weren't around to see Jordan. It just stands to reason, right? If you weren't there, if you're watching the Jordan highlights on YouTube, it doesn't translate the same. Just won't translate. Late 80s Jordan is the greatest player inside three-point arc. He's flawed behind the arc. I would argue visual. Again, with my very limited basketball knowledge. We're Brandon, I promise you, this is the final words that are going to come out my mouth relating to basketball. But I'm guessing as good as Michael was, if we were playing in this era where the three-point shot is paramount, I think Michael was good enough to adapt. That's my hunch. We'll never know for sure. This sounds crazy, but hear me out. What if we added a lower class within F1 for F1 champions, give them an old spec BOP F1 car, and race on the it's techie. All this BOP stuff, I don't like it, Brandon. Too techie. You can't change the existing formula, no pun intended, too much, because you tinker with it and you lose the essence, right? Tactical Rab said it brilliantly on our conversation yesterday. You don't want to lose the essence nor the spirit of Formula One. If it looks massively different from what it did in 1950, if it looks too different, then you've gone too far away from what it always was, right? Jordan played against plumbers. I don't know about plumbers. What? Magic Johnson was a plumber. Larry Bird was a plumber. Behave yourself, Mike. I understand the point that you're making, but different era. Can't prejudice for the different eras in which people competed. Why no one going for faster slaps as Bonapartists? Because it doesn't matter. I think what they're focused on now is setup for the race. Red Bull will be focused on setup for the race because of the mistakes that they made in the previous race at Zandvoort. And again, their mistake was baking in too much downforce. Ted Kravitz talking about how happy. Ted Kravitz, welcome back, by the way, Ted Kravitz. What are we doing here? I've missed Ted Kravitz too as well, Crofty, massively. The broadcast is much poorer for his absence. Michael had a record for the worst scoring 3-point contest in the 80s. Yeah, but that was when 3-pointers didn't even matter. I've heard people say that Michael couldn't shoot a 3. Mate. Michael could walk on water. What are we doing? George Russell will never win a championship. Behave yourself, Michael, with that sacrilege. How do you know this so definitively? I think Lando will get a title before Russell ever. Ooh, well, you can say that now from the vantage point of McLaren having had for the past couple of races, the whip and the quickest machine. I think you're talking more to the machinery landscape than the drivers. You've always got to normalise for the machinery here. And as at August 2024, who has the quickest machine? Right, F1. Enough basketball talk. Hamilton, Norris, Sainz, Piastri. I don't know about this. So your session's come to an end. I've missed it. And we'll be here for FP3. I'm going to try and go long today at 8 p.m. Oh, the humanity. It's too techy though. And I've got work to do. Right, guys. VG, if you needed that adaptation, he'd do it now. Teddy's essential. Max, I completely agree with you. He's quality guy. He's the goatiest, isn't he, on the current internationally syndicated broadcast being Sky Sports F1. Right, guys. That is your FP2. We'll be back for FP3. I promise. We'll go live tonight, 8 p.m, where we discuss everything, because I think there's been news, not just Kimi Antonelli crashing it into the barrier at Parabolica. I heard this Kimi guy coming in is really fast. Quick, but you need more than speed, right, to win yourself a championship. Can't see Jean Alesi after being mentored by, I can't wait to see him either, Nate. They're already talking, aren't they? You hear them talking in the press conference. Lewis and Charles talking about this picture of them with like Frederick Vasseur as the Pope and their face superimposed onto like the angels or whatever, or saints. I like to start controversial stuff. I know, Michael, I can tell, mate. Have a good weekend, Christine, you're a legend. True VG, paid driver. Right, guys, I'm going to run. You guys have been legends. You need Ted in the baseline. And on that bombshell, chat, you guys have been legends. I'll see you at 8 p.m. British Standard Time, where we're doing deep dive for all the news and all the everything else. Because the F1 news cycle never, ever sleeps. FP3 will be going live as well. Quali will be there. And the race, 30 minutes before lights out. If there's a car one track, then we'll be here talking about it. Do you know what I mean? Cam, epic commentary, chatter. You're a legend, Christian. Do you know what I mean? Again, this platform, it's a fan channel, isn't it? Its strength is a function of the fundaments, the foundations that you guys create. The chat going back and forth. It's no more or less. Between now and next time, the prosecution rests. No further questions, Your Honour.